Hello everyone. Good morning everyone. I would like to welcome to all to this session. I hope you are doing well. Today we will discuss different between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. So without delay, let's start our today discussions. Before starting our topic, I would like to tell you that this topic is parts of your comparative politics of your OPSC PGT syllabus, your SSB, your UGC, NET. Moving to the topic, the difference, the parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. First, we will look upon the parliamentary form of government. The executive power is vested in the elected parliament or legislatures. So, as we know that the MLA and MP, they are elected by people, and these elected MLA and MP form legislatures. And from the legislature, as a law making body, the executive as an organization of government formed. Again, I am repeating, the legislatures is a body of your MP at parliament and MLA at legislature, state legislative assembly. And out of that, your executive is formed. So, executive power is vested in elected parliament of legislatures. One thing we need to clear. Moving to the second point, the head of government is usually the prime ministers. So, in parliamentary form of government, the head of the government is prime minister. So, who is the head of the government? It is not president, it is the prime minister who is the head of the government. Okay. So, sir, who will be the head of the state? Then your answer would be president. The president of India is the head of the state. Is the head of the state. So I believe this much is pretty clear to all of you. Then the prime minister is accountable to parliament. The prime minister is accountable to parliament. Sir, why? Now, as I have told to you that the executive is come out from legislature. Okay? That's way the prime minister is primarily accountable to parliament, because from the parliament the body of executive is formed. Getting my point? Very nice. Then the government can be dissolved by a vote of no confidence. Okay. What is the vote of no confidence? Now, vote of no confidence is such a mechanism which remove the government or dismiss the government from its office or the post. So, the vote of no confidence is an example of for the parliament form of government. Okay, so vote of no confidence is an example for the parliamentary form of government. Okay, so government can be dissolved by the vote of no confidence. Okay, I have already told you regarding the vote of no confidence. When we discussed about the all about parliament. Okay, and you must watch that video. You have to remember that government can be dissolved by the vote of no confidence. Guys, please wait 1 minute. Then moving to the next, the government is formed by the majority party or coalitions. Coalitions. So government is formed by the majority party and coalition. So moving to this concept, I would like to ask one question. Currently currently the Indian government, I am talking about Indian government, not the Odisha government, okay? Do remember, currently the Indian government formed by formed by the coalition government. Currently the Indian government is a coalition government. And guys, I need to know from your side that which are the political party, or in general, or which are the name of the coalition government for particulars. Okay, so what is the name of the coalition current government in India, that you need to tell me. Coming to the point, the government is formed by the majority party or coalition. So the concept here, in parliamentary form of government, a government which is created by a political party who secure maximum votes. I mean to say that a political party whosoever secure the maximum vote, they will form the government. In other words, if any such political party not secured the maximum vote, the coalition, a group of political party forming the coalition, they form the government. Getting my point? Okay, sir, this much is clear. Then the prime minister can be removed by vote of no confidence. You talk about your prime minister, you talk about your government, they can removed by the vote of no confidence. Okay, sir, what is vote of no confidence? Now, vote of no confidence, it's a type of motion. It's a type of motion which moved, or which is raised, or which is moved by the member of the parliament against the government or against the prime ministers. So it is a mechanism to put check, to put balance, or to remove or dismiss the government. That is how the vote of no confidence. So you need to remember, the vote of no confidence is a part of the parliamentary form of the government. Getting my point? Then the government is responsible for both legislative and executive function. So the government making the law, the government implementing the law, so they are accountable for this law to executive as well as to legislatures. Getting my point? Legislature in the sense like the member of the parliament. Executive in the sense, you talk about the union cabinet, you talk about the council of ministers. So for that action, for to this the executive or legislative action, the government is accountable in your what? The parliamentary form of government. The prime minister, I have told you, the government is responsible for what? Both legislative and executive functions. Okay. Then the parliament has significant control over legislations and policy making. The parliament what? Has significant control over legislations and policy making. Who form policy? If you will ask to me, sir, it's what? The parliament. Parliament make policy, and parliament also make law, enactment, okay, act, regulations. So in parliamentary form of government, the parliament has a significant control over legislation and policy. Then the prime minister can dissolve the parliament and call for new elections. So guys, as we all know, under Article 74 of the Indian Constitution, Council of Minister headed by Prime Minister provide aid and advice to the President, and the President has the power to dissolve the what? The Parliament with the aid and advice by your Council of Minister headed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can dissolve the Parliament in the sense it's the President who dissolves the Parliament by the aid and advice forwarded by your what? Your Council of Minister headed by the Prime Minister. In the sense, the Prime Minister can dissolve the Parliament and call for new elections. Like recently we have seen the 18th general elections. Okay, getting my point? So the Prime Minister can dissolve the Parliament and call for new elections. Then next, the Parliament can dismiss the government through a vote of no confidence. So, through a vote of no confidence, the Parliament can dismiss the government, that we have already discussed. So, this is your all about. This is your all about what? This is your all about parliamentary form of government. Okay, we have discussed this thing now. The parliamentary form of government, that you need to remember, the India, it's a form of the parliamentary form of government. Okay, example of the parliamentary form of the government, you need to remember that things. Then if this thing is crystal clear to you, please give a like to the sessions, okay, as your mark of attendance. Then I would like to switch to the presidential form of the government. Okay sir, so what is the presidential form of a government? So, the presidential form of government, executive power is vested in a separate elected president. So, your executive power is vested in a separate elected president. So, executive power is not associated with the legislature when you talk about presidential form of government. But when you talk about parliamentary form of government, your executive power is lies in the legislatures or out of the legislature, the executive power or executive body created. But unlike the parliamentary form of government, your executive power is vested in a separate elected president. Getting my point? Then the head of the government is the president. Who is the head of the government? The president. The president is the head of the government. Okay, but on the other hand, the parliamentary form of government, the head of the government is Prime Minister. But unlike the parliamentary form of government, in presidential form of government, the head of government is the president. The president is not directly accountable to the legislature. So, unlike the parliamentary form of government, the what? Your prime minister accountable to the legislature. But in parliamentary form of government, the president is not directly accountable to the legislature. Okay, why sir it's not like accountable legislature? Because president is not what related to the legislatures. Okay, but when you talk about parliamentary, the president is also part of the legislatures. Remember, it's Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and president. That we know that the parliament has a three part: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and the president. But in presidential form of government, the president is not directly accountable to the legislature. Then the president's term is fixed and not subject to a vote of no confidence. Okay, so you need to remember, in presidential form of government, we know the head of the government is president. But on the other hand, the parliamentary form of government, the head of the government is prime minister, who accountable to the legislature, who can remove or dismiss by the vote of no confidence. Unlike the parliamentary form of government, the presidential form of government, in which the president term is fixed and not subject to a vote of no confidence. Then the president forms the government and appoints the cabinet ministers. So who appoints the cabinet minister? President appoints the cabinet minister and form the government. That is how the similarity we can say that. The president cannot be removed by vote of no confidence. We have discussed separation of power between the executive and legislative branch. So one thing is clear with respect to presidential form of government, a separation of the power. You can ask me, sir, what is the separation of the power? Now we all know there are the three organ of the government, that is how legislature, executive, judiciary, and the separation of power between the three organs, it's a significant features of presidential form of government. Okay sir, the separation of power doctrine for the first time given by which scholar? It can be a question. It's Montesquieu. So Montesquieu provided the doctrine of separation of the power in his book, The Spirit of Law. What is the book? Spirit of Law. And who wrote this book? Montesquieu. Okay, Montesquieu. Then the president has a considerable role in policy making and legislation. We have discussed the president cannot. We have discussed the president cannot be displaced by the legislature. We have already discussed it. So guys, this is all about your difference between the parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. I hope this thing is pretty clear to all of you. And if you have any doubt, you can connect with me in Telegram. So thank you everyone for being part of this lesson. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of the lesson. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.